Hi Math 2 students, this is Ms. Van Vickle, and this is Thursday's video, Unit 6, Lesson 5, An Introduction to Logarithms. So, you've learned inverses throughout your math career. The inverse of addition is subtraction, the inverse of multiplication is division, the inverse of squaring is to square root. So in this unit, we have studied exponential functions, and we know that something called a logarithm is the inverse of an exponential. So we have a rule that we need to understand and know and apply, and that is if we take some base, it can be any number, 2 or 3 or 9 or whatever, and we take it to a power that equals some number, then we can also say that this is true. The log of that base of y equals x. So I think this is just a little bit easier to understand with numbers in it. So let's come back to the rule after we've done some examples. We'll come back and fill in these blanks up here after a few examples. So on the left-hand column on your worksheet, it says write each as a logarithm. So we write the word log, and then we take the base and we put it down below the line. So we would read this log base 5. And then we take the exponent of 2 and we put it over here on this side of the equal sign. And the 25 goes right there. So what we're saying with this expression is that when we take 5 to the second power, we get 25. We're actually solving for our exponent right here by isolating it on the right-hand side of the equal sign. Let's do a couple more together. In this, we would say the log base 3, notice the base 3 always goes there, and it should go below the line, of 729 is equal to 6. What goes over here? The exponent, because a logarithm is an exponent. So this one looks a little bit odd because we have fractions, but fractions are numbers nonetheless, and we treat the numbers just the same. Our base in this case is 1/2. Our exponent is 3, and we would say log base 1/2 of 1/8 is 3. This essentially says if we take 1/2 to the third power, we end up getting 1/8. Let's do the last few, and then I'm going to show you how to evaluate them in your calculator. Log base 10 of 1 is 0. Says 10 to the 0 power is equal to 1. Log base 2 of 4 is equal to 3x. Notice now I used to have the x in my exponent. Now the x is down on the line, and I can actually do some algebra and solve that. Log base 3 of 27 is equal to x. So let's take a look at how we would evaluate these in our calculator. And I'm going to try to adjust the camera so that we can see the equation and the calculator screen all at once. Maybe that's pretty good too. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to learn how to evaluate a log using any base in the calculator. And to do that, we have to hit the second button. And then we go down to catalog. That's your 0 button. And there are many, many, many things we can do in the catalog. If you page up and down, you'll notice it kind of goes on for a very long time. I want to get to a part of the catalog called log base. And the fastest way for me to do that is to hit the alpha button and the divide button. That takes me down to the m's. Notice that if you hit alpha and the divide button, the little letter in green above that divide is M. So I'm sitting on something called manual fit, and I want to go backward to the point where I see log base. And if I hit enter, it'll bring out to the main screen a log, and I can type in base 5. I'm evaluating this first one. Base 5 of 25. And if I hit enter, I see that it's equal to 2. And that's what I said right here by rewriting my exponential as a log. So let's do that again. It's important to be able to use your calculator in this way. We would hit second and then the 0 button. That gives us our catalog. And then to get down to log base, we would hit alpha and divide. And that will take us down to our M's. Alpha, divide. And we see that we're sitting on manual fit. We want to go backwards to log base. And now we can fill in our base and what we're taking the log of. Base 3, I'm going to do this one now. Base 3 of 729. And when I hit enter, I get 6. And that makes sense to me. So let's do this one more, the one with the fractions. So we know how to get fractions into our calculator. Second, 0, alpha, divide. And I'm going to go backwards to log base. And now my base in this problem is going to be 1/2. So I'm going to use parentheses because anytime I enter a fraction, I have to put it in parentheses. So log base 1/2 of 1/8 is what I want to enter in my calculator. And when I hit enter, I get 3. So this all makes lots of sense, right? So now what we need to do is we need to have the ability to take something that's written in logarithmic form and rewrite it as an exponential. So this is my base, and this is my exponent. 10 to the negative 2 power is equal to 0.01. Here, this is my base, and this is my exponent. 3 to the 3rd equals 27. So essentially what I'm doing on this side of the worksheet is the opposite of what I just did on the left side. My base is 7, and 7 squared is equal to x. Base, exponent, and that's what it's equal to. Now notice by rewriting it, all of a sudden I have something that I can solve. It's not real clear to me what x is when I look at it in this form, but when I rewrite it, I see that x has to be 49, 7 squared. 6 to the x power equals 36 in this instance. And notice there's no base in number 5. When you leave the base blank, it defaults to 10. So this is 10 to the 2x power is equal to 1,000. And the last problem has us doing 2 to the 7th equals 128. So that's how we rewrite problems in exponential form when they're given to us in logarithmic form. So let's go back and look at the rule. I told you we were going to do that. This says if I have a base taken to a power and that equals some number, that I can rewrite that as the logarithm of that base. The power is right here. It goes on the other side of the equal sign. And then the y value right here ends up right here. So notice in this equation I'm solved for y, and in this equation I'm solved for x. And there are loads of times when I want to solve for my exponent, and when I do, I'm going to use a logarithm. So that's it for part 1 of Thursday's videos.